I run a studio in downtown Portland called Overcast Audio, and in this video I'm going to go over this session here from my friend Trevor Fitzgerald, and this is for his cover of Treacherous from Beneath the Massacre. He did this cover for a video of a recent interview of the drummer, and I mix a lot of Trevor's videos, I think almost most of them, the newer ones, and they're recorded at my studio. So Trevor's my guitar player for my band Languages, and he just kind of has this kit in my control room, and he's able to kind of let himself in, and he just does videos every now and then, and he pays me sometimes to mix his videos for his Instagram, which is, it's a cool kind of thing that we do, and it gives me a lot of cool practice mixing extreme drums, and it gets some good practice and kind of exposure out on Instagram. But, there has been some concerning, claims lately that some of the stuff we're doing is fake or kind of sample replaced and edited or quantized. So first thing is first, there are samples, okay? The only sample here is the kick trigger, because these are extreme metal drums, and the only kind of way to really get them to punch is to have a trigger on them, and because they're also doubles or heel-toe technique, as you would say, and those don't really sound great kind of mic'd up, so we have those sampled. But other than that, guys, nothing else here is sampled. The snare is all in the natural shells, the toms are all natural shells, and this track is pretty stripped back, We just got snare top, snare bottom, kick trigger, toms, rooms, and overheads, and some of the spot mic cymbals here. Okay, so I want to look here on the first thing. You can see here that there's no quantization on these transients. So you can see they're a little bit kind of rushed in some spots, a little bit off the grid, a little bit late on some spots. But let's take a look at the kick trigger themselves here, because this can be a claim that people have sometimes as well, that they are edited. So you can see here, these are not on the spot, guys. These are all a little bit imperfect, which will make drums sound great. This will be on the grid. You can see this is not on the grid. This is a little early as well. So no editing on these kick drums. So next I want to do is I want to take a look at the snare here. There were some people kind of commenting about the gravity blast stuff. You can see here we kind of have two kind of cluster parts of gravity blasts. Now we're going to listen to it isolated with the processing on here. So you can look at my processing here. And with this videos, I try to really mix in the box with a lot of Reaper plugins for free, because it's kind of fun to do that, just to kind of see what kind of sounds I can get with plugins everyone else has access to. Only thing that is not Reaper is probably the Saturn, right? Yeah. This is just kind of getting rid of the cymbal bleed. All right, let's take a listen. So those are the gravity blasts for this section. There's no kind of trickery here, no sample replacing, no added hits. Let's do it again with the processing turned off. There you go. Let's do the next one here, no processing. There were some comments that were saying, well, why is the gravity blast sound as loud as the eighth note kind of full hits? Well, that's because they're compressed, Compression brings up the lower signal and tries to match it to a higher signal. And we kind of compress it pretty heavily here. Not too heavily on the gravity blast, but you can see here on this part, it's getting about -4 decibels of gain reduction. Up to -10 on the full hits. So next I'm going to play the whole thing here, just the drums. Okay, so you might say, like, why do they sound this way? Well, Trevor isn't recording this kit in his bedroom, right? This is done in my studio. I've engineered these drums, I've tuned these drums, I mic these drums, and I help kind of guide him on how to properly hit the shells right to have a great kind of rim-shotted sound. And he's a great drummer, so he knows really how to play these fast speeds powerfully. So let's take a look at the session. This is the session that's straight from Trevor, what he sends to me on our Telegram. And this is kind of what I get off the bat. So there's no processing on these, there's no editing you see. These are just kind of the consolidated waves here, and we are going to play it. And the kick sample is not active, so you just hear straight from the box whichever records and sends to me. So those are the unprocessed waves, and it turns into this, right? So we'll take a look at my master bus here. What we're doing, we're just have some Gulf Os going on, some tape, saturation, clipping, and limiting. Very simple here. Another master bus here. We're doing a little bit of the FG stuff. This gives it more of a poppy sound. It makes it have that nice kind of cool nolly sound to it. Right on. So these are the drum sessions from that video. And you can see here that there's no kind of bullshit or fakery. I've worked very hard for 10 years to learn how to properly record, mix drums, how to engineer them, and I take painstaking efforts to make sure that I don't have to rely on sample replacement or augmentation. And I think a lot of producers and drummers nowadays are kind of leaning towards that movement now, as I'd call it. This kind of the rejection of needing to overly sample everything. But to do that, you have to take really kind of detailed steps here and a lot of hard work to achieve to kind of have an almost sampled like sound without using samples.